Bienvenue. Welcome back for second semester. I'm happy to see you guys are coming back for French 2. A couple things about the program I know that you should know. I'm just going to refresh your memory, is that when you log into the program, you have to check your messages first. That when you are contacting me, you always want to tell me your name, your grade, your class, like French 2B, French 1B, French 3B, your unit, lesson, or test number, so that I know where to go to find whatever it is you're asking me about. You always want to stay on track. We want to be green. This semester, you get 3 tries on every quiz or test. Still, again, 3 tries. On the last one, I did quite a bit of curve on the mastery assess it, so keep that in mind. But you need to be studying and trying to get as much done as you can. If you still don't pass, I can give you another try, but I like for us to meet or do something before you try a third or a fourth time. I can also do an override. Sometimes things are easy in one unit, but then the second unit is too hard, so sometimes we just move on and come back to it if we need to. This semester, attendance may be done a little bit differently. I might be updating the gradebook each week instead of just doing it at interim and at the end of the 9 weeks. So I'm hoping that helps everybody to be cognizant of where they are in the program and if they're doing what they need to do. I'm going to try to do everything in the program, but also be sure to check your email, and if you should still be in Google Classroom as well. I will be establishing some office hours throughout the week for you to contact me or set up a meet if you need to. Okay, so to the pacing guide. And that's still pretty much the same as it has been. You want to make sure that you are staying on track in the green. So you're going to go to your overview page. You're going to click on French 1 or French 1B, and you're going to see a pacing guide here, and this is going to be what keeps you on track. Of course, this week we're going to look at the pacing guide and the list of work that's there, and then 7 through 8, right? Friday is 8, so we're going to work all the way through January 8th at least this week. That should be at least what you get done. And then 11 to 15 is next week, so I'm going to try and go through those just a little bit. We're talking about places and directions, which what I like about this unit is that it's relevant if you go anywhere where they speak French, any francophones, Paris or otherwise. You will need to ask directions. You might need help knowing where you're going. And so this is really a relevant activity. I'm pretty happy with it. So you're going to work through 94, 95, 96 for this week. And then you'll continue through to 101 by next week. So I just want to go through those a little bit. I'm just going to walk through those a little bit so that you can see how to do it. So I'm going to try and list a folder above the units when I do these videos so that you can find them easily and see the help you need. I also emailed them to you last semester. I think that was pretty good. The first unit is pretty easy, and it has our first assess it. You won't see the show it's, but you will see the read it. So this is just basically looking at the monuments of Paris, and they're pretty easy. Most of you are probably familiar with La Tour Eiffel, Arc de Triomphe, Le Louvre, where the Mona Lisa is housed, and other famous artworks. The Cathédrale de Notre Dame, which caught fire not long ago. They're working to restore it. And then the Sacré-Cœur, which means the Sacred Heart. It is a church. So you're going to look over these monuments, you're going to read about them, and then you're going to answer some questions and submit it. So that's a pretty easy assess it. That's the first grade. So I'm expecting everybody to have a grade on that this week. That would be wonderful. Again, there's an assess it here. I don't think it'll show it to me. You basically just have to take the test and turn it in. All right. That takes us back to lesson 95, which is où se trouve. Se trouve is to be found or to be situated. Where is it? And so this talks about asking directions. Où se trouve le cinéma? Where do you find the cinema? Where is it located? So in what situations might you have to ask for directions from one place to another? If you travel to a francophone city or country, you may have to ask for directions. So asking for and giving directions is a very useful skill. Excusez-moi, madame, où se trouve la pharmacie? So où se trouve is a good way to ask where things are located. You could also use où est la pharmacie? Where is it? But se trouve is more in regards to where it's located. And so they have vocabulary for you to practice. You can listen to it. There's où est. Looks like où est, but that's not how you say it in French. And then we have lots of vocabulary. La bibliothèque. I want to make sure you know, like, here it says, où se trouve la librairie? Librairie is actually the bookstore. It's a faux ami, it's a fake cognate. It's not the library. It's the bookstore. The library is actually la bibliothèque. So anyway, there's all this vocabulary to go through, and in the next part then you can practice it. You can show it. There's an answer key for the show it, and then you're going to move on to lesson 96. All right, lesson 96 deals with directions. So they're looking at a map. You're doing a little geography. All the different directions are there. And you're just working through that a little bit. So this is kind of tough because it's looking at different francophones and where they're located in regards to other francophones. But try it out. I don't think it's too bad. And then there's a show it. There's an answer key for the show it. And then you're moving on to lesson 97. Comment y aller? So aller is a verb that means to go. And I don't know if we've covered it yet or not, but like there are 6 different forms of the verb. So, you know, I go, you go, he or she goes, we go, they go. And so these are the 6 different forms of aller. Je vais, tu vas, il va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont. And oftentimes when we're referring to a place, we use a. It's a preposition a. And if it's we say à la, you know, à la maison, you can say that. But if it's a plus le, we use a conjunction like au. We don't say à le café, we say au café. But if we're talking about a place and we've already mentioned it, tu vas au café? Are you going to the cafe? Oui, j'y vais. We can use this E sound. It's a Y. It sounds like E. J'y vais means I'm going there. And we use that when we're referring to some place that we've already talked about. So when it says comment y aller, it's asking you how do you go there. That's what it's asking. So you're asking for directions, or maybe it's asking you how you're traveling. So there's some stuff to read here. And then they have the verb aller, continuer, to continue, prendre, to take, like if you're taking the train or taking the bus. Suivre is to follow. And tourner, traverser is to cross. And they give you the different forms of prendre. Je prends le train, I take the train. Or suivre la route, you know, follow the road, or whatever they want you to do. And then they have directions, à droite, à gauche, so right and left, and different vocab for you to study. All right. And so we're back to where to go. We have more vocabulary there. And so you're just going to work through comment y aller. There's a practice it. There's a practice it. There's, wow, there's lots of practice it's. There's a show it. There's an answer key. All right. And then we're into imperatives, and imperatives are commands. So just like I would say, go to the office. That's the kind of thing we're going to do with French. We're going to drop that pronoun. So instead of saying tu vas, you go, we're just going to say va au bureau, right? And so there are different rules that apply with the imperatif, but that's what we're doing. And so that is next week, I think. I'll maybe open up a little bit more about that next week. But that puts you through 97. I'm not 100% sure how far you have to go. Let's look. So comment y aller would be something that we would do next week, that we would be working on next week. The imperatives would be after that, so the 12th. So the middle of next week we'll do imperatif, which is the command forms, and then allons en ville, let's go to the city, or let's go to, to the city. So there's that. A read it, a show it. Notice there are no more assess it. So this is just you working through how to give directions and go through directions. There's more on imperatif, giving commands. And that puts us down to lesson 101. We don't have another assess it. And oh, there's an imperatif assess it. Okay, so I may go over that with you a little bit next week. All right, everybody should get through at least the first 3 lessons, and everyone should finish this Monuments of Paris. All right, good luck. Bonne chance.